Today we're going to talk about registration. Registration is the art of picking the stops, picking the sounds that you want to bring your piece to life. I'm going to talk about registration using my prelude for this coming Sunday as kind of a guinea pig, a test model. The piece is called Toccata in F major by Dietrich Buxtehude. And Buxtehude was a composer that lived in the Baroque period. He was kind of a role model to our famous J.S. Bach, and one of the reasons I chose this piece, and one of the reasons I love this piece, is because it has many sections, and with each of the sections you really have a chance to show a new color of the organ. So it starts out with this beautiful opening flourish, and for the opening flourish I've chosen a principal chorus. It's called a plenum, really. So it's the principal sounds plus these bright mixtures that really just energize the sound and kind of bring it to life. And then when the pedal comes in, it's the same. It's kind of the same sound, but it has a 16-foot to kind of ground the sound. So just taking, that opening line as an example, what if I chose something completely different? What if I chose only to play it with an 8-foot principal? Still very beautiful, but it doesn't have that same oomph. To go completely in the opposite directions, what would happen if I chose only an 8-foot flute? So those are just some of the colors that are available to us. For this opening triumphant part, I don't want any of those kind of more delicate sounds. I want that plenum that has the gusto and the grit. So that's kind of the first section. The next section is a fugue, and a fugue is as a form has multiple voices that each share the same theme. So one of the voices will come in with this theme, and then this is a 4-voice fugue, so the other 3 voices will then, when they make their entrance with the same melody. So I'm looking for something that's very clean, very crisp, not anything that's too bright, actually, because I want to I want the listener to hear all of the voices. So for this, I've chosen an 8-foot principal combined with the 4-foot principal. Just to compare that to the opening flourish, the sound of the opening flourish, that plenum, I'm going to just demonstrate the fugue on this plenum and just listen to the difference. Didn't think I would like that, but I kind of like it. But I'm going to stick with my 8-foot, 4-foot, because too much plenum, I think it tires out the listener's ear. After that fugue, we have this very sweet section that I'm choosing to play on 8-foot and 4-foot flutes. Options for this section. You could probably get away with strings. I wouldn't, but... Or maybe that's the viola. Maybe the viola combined with the flute. You could do the flute chorus, which is an 8/4/2 chorus. That's pretty cute. I love that 2-foot flute. I could play it on a trumpet. So again, tons of different options. The next cute section I've chosen to play on a 4-foot flute. It's hard to pick a favorite stop on the organ, but in general, I'm very inclined towards 4-foot flutes. Listen to how cute this is. Whoops. You really could play that quite loudly and quite boldly. For example, if I chose the 8-foot principal, I better get some pedal going. You could probably do 8-foot, 4-foot. I like the 4-foot because what happens next, the 4-foot flute, because what happens next, I'm holding this chord, and then I have this Durezze section, which is this like very ethereal, really. For that section, I'm still going back and forth on whether I want the tremolo or not. The tremolo, just like a violinist would use vibrato to make the sound, give the sound some shape. The tremolo does the same thing, and it just kind of forces it kind of pulsates the air so that you hear a little bit of a tremolo. Here's that same note without the tremolo. So I'm not sure which one I'll end up choosing, but so for that, I've actually chosen the 4-foot on the grate, the 4-foot principal on the grate, because it's a little bit smaller than the 8-foot principal. I'll just play a little bit with the 4-foot again. Here's that same amount with the 8-foot. It's a bigger sound. So as you can see, the art of registration is very nuanced. You can have as clear a picture in your mind as you want before you sit down at the instrument that you're playing it on, and you might have to completely switch gears based on what's in front of you. And registration includes a lot of listening. You have to listen to the sounds, see if they're blending, see if they're making the sounds that you want, and if not, then you change gears. So remember to sign in early on Sunday so you can hear the full toccata in all of its glory. And I hope you enjoy this peek into registration.